Welcome to the coming apocalypse. Evangelist and pastor Paul Begley will take you on a journey into the end times prophecy. He'll examine current world events and explain how they relate to the end times. For decades, Pastor Begley has provided people all over the world with an understanding of today's world events from a biblical perspective. Now, here's your host, Pastor Paul Begley.
It's great to have you here today.
Good to be on the show. How are you, my friend?
I am blessed and highly favored, and you're looking good.
Can I be highly favored? Because I need some.
Yes, you can. You can be blessed.
Can you just pour some of that juice on me?
It's coming on you right now. It's coming on you. No, really, it's great to see you today. And you talk about chemicals. I know, there's all kinds of things. But every time I drive by and I see these big, huge resin, like semi trucks hauling chemicals, I'm like, I wonder what's in there. What's that for? Is it, for all the different things? And then you start thinking, how much chemicals is in food and how much is in the air? And help us understand, Ronnie, what's going on in this chemical world.
Well, you said it correctly when you said chemical world, because there's chemicals in the air, there's chemicals, and if it's in the air and it drops, and it does because the chemicals are heavier than the air, they drop and they get into our water supply, and so then they taint our water. And this is been happening for a very long time. We won't go into the details of that, but then the chemicals go into our plants. And when I say that, not just from the air or the water, but we actually feed our plants chemicals. And so this is why there's herbicides and pesticides that keep away supposedly all the bugs and all that stuff off of our food. But it's changing the DNA and the RNA of the actual food to where when we eat it, we become sick. It becomes genetically modified, which is man-made, genetically modified organism. So it means there's something real and different that's going in your body that's affecting you. And what's sad is when we go to the grocery store, we see 70 or 80% of the grocery store is GMO full, meaning it's been altered food. So you have to go and have your little handy-dandy glasses on and read different labels and back labels. And what's funny is some of the companies don't want to tell you that their food is GMO full, or they don't want to label it. So that way they just say, it's good for you, and you just trust it. Well, trusting, it's like trusting the government. Really? Trusting somebody that's lied to you. Really? So it makes it really hard. And this is affecting our health in such crazy ways that we don't realize really what it's doing to us. And if you look at the charts of sickness and how the sickness has risen in the past 20 or 30 years, there's a correlation to our herbicides and pesticides, Roundup Ready, that, which is really funny because supposedly that was an okay product. Their salesmen for Monsanto actually in their sales presentation would drink a cup of Roundup Ready to prove that it's okay. And I feel bad for those. Yes. And I feel bad for those guys because they're probably dead or sick or cancerous or whatever. Yeah. So it's really a sad issue where our world is today. And I'm curious about the Creator and what he would think about this when he's given us a world full of incredible food and herbs and trees with fruit and vegetables. He's given us beautiful air, lots of fresh water, beauty. I mean, he's given us everything there is to survive in a great way. But man in his greed has come along and changed and altered everything. And this is why you see GMO genetically, which is man-made, GMO, genetically modified organism. And an organism is obviously a living organism. So we've been altered to the core, and we're trying to fight it with supplements, and supplements help a lot, but there's other things you can do too. You have to be proactive. And some people go, I'm too tired to be proactive. I'm too tired to fight off this, and they just go down the road of just, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Well, sometimes it happens and they get cancer, or they get heart disease, or they get diabetes. Look at the rise of diabetes, and we'll talk about that in a second. There's a huge reason why diabetes has become an epidemic. There's a huge reason. And if we wise up and check ourselves, we can figure out why and change the tide.
You know, when you start talking about the diabetes, is probably the number one cause of many different diseases that affects the body. And you've said many times on this broadcast that the gut is where most of the bacteria, most of the sicknesses and things come upon us is in our digestive system.
Yes.
But if we're being poisoned with it drives me nuts when I'm at a restaurant, okay, and they bring the little sugar thing, and I look and I see a pink one, a blue one, a yellow one, and then I see a brown sugar in the raw, and then I see a white one. And I'm like, what in the world? Which poison do you pick? I mean, I just drink it black, okay? So, I mean, is there issues here? I mean, is sugar worse than sugar substitutes, or what's happening?
Sugar substitutes are actually worse, but sugar in itself is very, very toxic, to the point of the big boys don't like that talk being presented, because it is. And there's studies. You can go on YouTube and watch studies on sugar and what it's done to the body and what it's doing, and find out. And people say, oh, Ronnie, you just, you don't understand. And I could say, well, go to the grocery store, and the only aisle you'll find that probably has no sugar in it is the soap aisle. Wow. Every other aisle has got sugar in it. There's sugar in chips. There's sugar in stuff. There's sugar in barbecue. There's sugar in all kinds of stuff. And you'll find, and that's not counting the soda aisle. The soda aisle is a dead giveaway because it's sugar aisle.
Yeah. So is there something in the sugar that makes it addictive? Like, I mean, you're saying that sugar could be more addictive than cocaine? They've done studies. It's more addictive than cocaine. And you actually, when you try to get rid of sugar, you go through withdrawals. So let me tell you the sugar story with Ronnie McMullen. Okay.
So I decided that, you know what, I'm in trouble. I've got some troubles going on physically. So when you have troubles, you really change the dial if you want to get better. So I decided that, you know what, sugar's not good for me. Type 2 diabetics need to listen to this very, very closely. So sugar's not good for me. So best thing to do is go cold turkey, because if you kind of drop your sugar, it's kind of like saying, I'm going to drink a cup of poison. Okay, so I know this is poison, so I'm only going to drink a half a cup. You're still putting poison in your body. So I decided I'm going to go belly up, and I'm just going to no sugar. And not only no sugar, but no simple carbs, because simple carbs, potatoes, chips, all this kind of stuff turn sugar. Yes. So I thought I'm going to cut it down to the nub and just go sugarless. That's kind of funny. Yeah. So I'm going to go sugarless. And long and the short of it is, then I'm on my almost my third week. I'll be honest, thoughts. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Thoughts of dying.
What?
Thoughts of dying. I really felt like I was dying. And I still have those feelings sometimes. So I thought, wow, what's going on? So I talked to a doctor. And he's a naturopath. And he said, Ronnie, it's because you are dying. And I said, what are you talking about? I mean, everybody's dying. It's been born. Once you're born, you start dying. But I said, what are you talking about? You're dying because you're getting reset. Your biome in your gut is being reset, and it's craving sugar. And it's saying, give me sugar or I'm going to die. It's sending signals to your brain to tell your brain you're dying and you need sugar.
Wow. Now, but you're really not dying.
No, you're actually resetting. And this is something that I thought, okay, maybe a week without sugar, maybe 2 weeks, I'll be good to go, and I'm reset. Months. You've got to be sugarless for months to clean the cells of the body. And this is what causes insulin resistance, is because you're so gummed up, it's gooey gum of sugar. So it's really mind-blowing, the power of sugar and the addictiveness that goes with sugar, because there's times, and how the sugar is connected to emotion.
Yeah.
So how many times do you get depressed and you go get a bowl of ice cream?
Oh, yeah.
How many times are you kind of down and out and you eat a piece of cake?
Yep.
And it's connected. And so and think about this, the obesity in the world is up almost near 80%. And obese, not just overweight. There's a difference between obese and overweight.
Right.
So this is huge. And guess what sugar's doing to our people? It's changing the way we think. It's toxic to the brain as well as to the gut, as well as to the body.
Does it affect the DNA? Is it also affect the DNA, or is that more the chemicals, the pesticides?
Chemicals always affect DNA and RNA. So when you're talking about sugar, you're talking about loading up on a toxic, I call it toxic waste. And trust me, I want people to know when they listen to this, I'm not saying that I'm perfect and, oh boy, be strong like me. I'm not saying that at all. It's a tough call to go sugarless. And if you go, okay, I'll get something like NutraSweet, or I'll get something, that's a sugar substitute, it's more dangerous. A lot of those have rat poison in them, and they're actually more dangerous. Yes. So they're more sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners are more dangerous. And if you get into agave or you get into honey, high sugar count, honey's good for you. Okay. It's very good for you, but it's high sugar count. So if you're diabetic, it's going to hit you hard.
Folks, this is Ronnie McMullen with us for GetTheT.com. That's www.gettheT.com. You can also call if you wanted to call an order in. He's got great products. And that phone number is 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. And, there's nothing better than letting Get the Tea. The tea that Ronnie has is so powerful. It really does cleanse your body. And plus it tastes great. I mean, it's a better tasting than a lot of the teas that are out there, to be honest with you. And so how does it work, Ronnie? I mean, because if we're being poisoned by toxins, everything, and sugar is everywhere, and like you said, if you're going to go without sugar, you're basically saying you're going to go without carbs. You're down to meat, maybe, and vegetables, and fruit. And fruit can be sugar.
Fruit can be sugar, but it processes in the body differently. So
more healthier.
Oh, much more healthier. So I'll give a little fun tip here. If you're going to go sugarless, you need something. Okay. So I would tell you to go something as a grapefruit. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't like grapefruit because it's sour. Well, that's okay. Put a little salt on your grapefruit. That'll take away some of the sour away. But grapefruit's wonderful on digestive. And it's wonderful on the brain. It's wonderful on the eyes.
Really?
Yes. And the sugar processes differently than it does with normal brown sugar. And obviously, not to have white flour, white sugar. Right. And it's the same thing with gluten issues as well. These are things that are toxic to the body. And we're putting in gluten, we're putting in sugar, we're putting in all the, some of the dairy products. People are in trouble with dairy products. And the same thing, especially homogenized milk. And the dairy farmers don't like me talking like this, but unfortunately, it's the truth. Raw milk's much better, but they almost outlawed. They're doing, raids for people that are raising raw milk. And you just go, really? Raw milk? It's not like it's a drug, but they're treating it like it's a drug.
Because they don't want to give up the control. They want to be in control of everything we eat.
And everything we buy. So yes, absolutely. So going sugarless is really a hard aspect. I don't want to tell anybody it's easy. You will go through withdrawals, huge withdrawals. But think about this. If I'm lying and going sugarless is not a big deal and it's not that important, why am I going through withdrawals? Why does my body feel like it's dying?
How long have you been going without sugar?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. And you're going still through withdrawals?
Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And if any kind of upset in emotions, the sugar bell goes on.
Because it's looking for that comfort food. It's looking for that.
It says, Ronnie, you know, life would be a lot better if you just have yourself a nice little, don't get a big one, just a little bowl of ice cream, and you'll be fine. Or maybe a cookie, maybe two, because, you know, you used to eat 6 or 8, so two's you're really cutting back.
Right. Two's not
and
bad.
And it's like this inner voice is talking to you to do the bad thing and get off of the sugarless routine. And the more I hear stuff, I talked to a doctor today, and I said, how long, if you're a diabetic, how long should you be going sugarless? And it was an astounding rate, and I don't even want to share it because people will cry. They won't even try this. But it is empowering to have your body back, and you're in charge of the body, not the sugar.
Anything, you know, you talk about white, you know, white bread, white sugar, white rice. There's a saying they used to say, if it's white, it's not right. Okay.
Yep.
Don't eat it. But is it the bleaching process also?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And raw sugar is better, obviously, or cane sugar, much better than the processed white flour, white sugar, so on and so forth. But sugar, doesn't matter what form it is toxic. Sugar from fruits, fructose, processes in the body much differently.
Well, what do you have available to help people if they were trying to get off sugar? And you're trying right now. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you're the guy. You're the main guy, and it's tough. But is there some? I'm not saying substitutes for sugar, but is there a way to help detox faster? Anything?
Yes, and people have heard it many times. I talk about the tea, getthetea.com, Life Change Tea. I talk about it many, many times, and this is going to help you. Is it going to take away all of your cravings? Is it going to make you go, oh, I can do this, no problem? No, it's not. But is it going to help you with your footsteps going forward? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And this is something we really need to take at a reality. And I noticed, you know, being in the company of Get the Tea, I noticed I have a beautiful product that helps with blood sugar, helps balance blood sugar. And it's not a major seller. And I think, how many people are diabetic? It's absolutely through the roof. But I notice people that are diabetic, they don't want to give up the sugar. They just want to take the pill. And let me tell you something, it's not good for you what that sugar is doing. And the pill is only counteracting and bringing your number down, but it's kind of a false number. It's not the real deal.
Wow.
And I had problems with blood sugar. So I told my doctor, I said, you know, I'm on this sugarless issue where I haven't had sugar and I haven't had simple carbs for 3 weeks. I feel like I'm dying, and I'm checking my blood sugars, and yes, they're down, but they're not normal. Why? She said, Ronnie, you got a long way to go.
So this is a process where you're going to have to be patient, but obviously the less sugar we put in our body, the healthier we will be, because the sugar and the chemicals that are with it, and there's lots of chemicals that we breathe. Chemicals.
Yes.
You know, it's in the water. It's in the air.
It's in the water. It's in the air. It's in our food. We're bombarded. And the thing is if we go sugarless, we're at least changing our body structure. And here's another thing too. People are just now realizing what sugar's doing to the brain. It's jacking our brain up. So you're going to have a bad brain disease just eating tons of sugar. And we do eat tons of sugar. It's in everything. I've become over the years a label reader. You know, like Coca-Cola, right. 42 sugars. 42 in the Coca-Cola.
42 different sugars or 42 grams, or what are you talking about?
42 grams.
Folks, Ronnie McMillan over at getthetea.com. That's www.getthetea.com. You can call, and we're going to tell you about some of his products. He's got a monthly special going right now. You can call and order in at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. And Ronnie, I noticed you're running a monthly specials here, melatonin and pick your cleanse. Tell us about these.
Well, I've got the cleanse is probably the most important, especially with the subject we're talking about, which is D365 and get the Super T. And it comes together. And the D365 is great for travel. And then the T is obviously good, every day at home. And this is incredibly important for us to help detoxify our gut, help the biome, and help us get connected back to reality. Our eyes and our brain struggle. And anybody that's struggling, and I have struggles, I'll just tell you. But if I didn't get the T, oh my gosh, I'd be in trouble. I'd be in some major trouble. So, and people, it's funny is people say, well, I feel pretty good. I take my metformin if I'm a diabetic, or I take this or I do that. They don't exercise. Exercise is so important. And so they're like, I'm fine. I haven't had any problems. And then all of a sudden they have a heart attack or they have a small stroke. And they realize, you know what? I need to get on the bandwagon and change things. I'm telling people now, I'm warning you, change it now, because it's not just how you eat. You can say, well, I try to eat better, like meat. We all love our meat. Right. But the meat should be secondary, should be smaller, and our vegetables should be bigger.
Yeah.
And salads with lots and lots of Thousand Island dressing, you just hit the sugar factor right there.
Don't put the dressing on there, basically.
Well, you can put oil and vinegar and you can get by with it, you know?
Yeah.
And that helps. But when you're dealing with Thousand Island dressing, blue cheese, so-so. But pick your foods. But even if you eat perfectly, you're still bombarded by the water and the air. So this is how it's so important to stay on track. And, even dropping sugar would help. But sugarless it's kind of like, do you pull the trigger or do you not pull the trigger? There's kind of no middle ground. People say, well, I'll just drop my sugar a little bit. In other words, if I'm eating a piece of cake every night, I'll eat a half a piece of cake every night. That's not going to help your sugars at all.
Really?
Your body's craving sugar. It says, feed me. So you'll have that half a piece, and maybe 3 or 4 days you've had the half a piece of cake and you've done really good. And you say, I deserve, watch that word, I deserve a good night. I'm going to have a big, giant piece of chocolate cake. And guess what? You lost everything you gained.
Wow. It sets you way back.
It sets you way back. And you never got rid of it in the first place. So this is where you have to realize that going sugarless, and I'm not telling everybody to do it, but if you've got problems with health, I would tell you maybe you need to get on the sugarless ban.
It's no doubt it's a leading cause of many, many different sicknesses and diseases, sugar diabetics, of course. And now melatonin. You're also picking this up. I've heard you talk about melatonin before. You've got the product out. People haven't. Ronnie, there are so many people that can't sleep at night. I think I don't know if it's anxiety, fear, chemicals in the body.
All the above. And melatonin helps. It's 10 milligrams serving. So when you take a pill, it's pretty strong, but it's not so strong that the robber comes in your bedroom and takes everything while you're sleeping and you don't wake up. It's not like that. Right. It just kind of calms you down and lets you sleep a little bit. And that's important. Sleep is when the body heals. When you go to sleep and you're not sleeping and you woke up in the middle of the night, your body's not healing. So, and it's important that you rest. People don't realize that. Some people will say, I don't like to take a nap. You can't sleep in the middle of the day? Well, I can, but I don't like it. Well, if you can sleep in the middle of the day a little bit and take a 30-minute or an hour, and you actually sleep, your body's calling for it. Yeah. And if we don't listen to our bodies, we get one body to work on for our life. If we don't take care of that body, then
we won't be here long.
Right.
I mean, we just won't be here long.
Right.
And I think it's sad, but a lot of folks' lives have been cut short, and I have to be honest, and a lot of it has to do with what we eat.
Yes.
And even when you're trying to eat organic, even when you're trying to eat well, it's getting harder and harder to find the food that's healthy without GMO indoctrinated and the pesticides. Am I correct there?
You're absolutely correct. In fact, a big financial guy, I won't mention his name so we don't get taken off here, bought, a lot of land in Arizona, a lot of land in the Midwest, and he's going to farm GMOs. So what does that tell you? I mean, he could be a hero if he would farm non-GMO products.
Oh, yes, he would be.
He'd be a hero, and he could corner the market with as many acres as he bought. But these rich people don't really think about people. They think about their pocketbook, and they think about control. And so it's really sad because we are in dire need of a change. And people say, well, I just pray and God will keep me alive because I pray to him. And I would tell you that I understand God too. And God's saying, what part of it are you going to do?
Yeah, faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith, but you have to also do your part.
Yes.
And that's what you're saying here. Folks, go to right now. You should go right now to getthetea.com, www.getthetea.com, and honestly, get the tea. Order a pack of tea, maybe get some other supplements as well. Some of this really help your body in a lot of different areas. But the tea cleanses you. Cleanse that gut. Cleanse. And make sure that your body is functioning properly. Because if you're not being cleansed, it slows the process down in everything. Am I right, Ronnie? The bloodstream.
Absolutely. And with sugar being a major part of our life, sugar likes to attack the heart and likes to attack the brain. It likes to attack our cardiovascular. So we have great things at getthetea.com. We have Allison Advanced that loves to help. For people that have diabetes, you might want to try our Takedown or Gymnema. We have stuff that helps the body, but you've got to do something about it. You can't just sit at home and say, well, it's okay. It won't happen to me. God loves me. And it's like, yeah, God loves you, but he's probably telling you, hey, if you watch this special, you might want to do something.
Right.
And by the way, I want to let people know that if you're watching this and you decide to order, you put Paul in the coupon code, hit apply, you're going to get free shipping.
Free shipping, folks. And he's got products like colostrum.
Woo! You're reading my mind.
I know, because I know it's a good stuff. And you've got colostrum complete vanilla.
Yes. Colostrum goes right to the gut. It's great for muscle repair. It's really great for the gut. If you've got gut problems, and I won't mention any diseases, but stuff that let's just say you're not doing well in the stomach area, colostrum's your friend. Just 2 or 3 big spoonfuls in an 8-ounce glass of water, mix it up. It's kind of like drinking a sweet non-fat, and it's sweet with stevia, not with sugar. So I want to make sure I'm clear there. And boy, it's got some good stuff in there I could give you all the stuff, but basically it's got some good stuff in there to help you. And I can't say the words, but it'll just change your life. Let's put it that way.
Also, I know you're big on Apple Cider Plus.
Go and look up the benefits on the internet of apple cider vinegar and just see what it is. It's so huge. And I decided, we sometimes don't like to taste the apple cider vinegar. Like I put apple cider vinegar sometimes in my salad dressings, and that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But apple cider vinegar doesn't taste exactly wonderful, and it kind of burns a little bit. So I decided I'm going to put it in a pill and let people take it, and you still get some of the same benefits.
Yeah, it's perfect for if you have a sore throat. It does wonders. It just does wonders for your body. It's a great. And then I noticed also, Ronnie, you've got pre-probiotic. Tell us about this pre and probiotic.
Immune. Our immune system. And with the past 2 years, we know that immunity needs to be up, not down. So you want to build your immune system. Vitamin A does that, builds the immune system. so many things build the immune system that you want to. Pro and prebiotic is definitely a builder of the immune system. And when your immune system is up, it's like wearing a shield. And I think that's what that pro and prebiotic is actually called, shields up.
Wow.
So it means your shields are up and you're not more susceptible to disease.
And olive leaf. I mean, olive oil I love. I mean, anything to do with olives is got to be great. But why do you have olive leaf as a product?
It's not the biggest seller, and I don't know why, because it's a home run hitter for immunity. It's a home run hitter for your body. If you think of an olive tree, they're not 10 years old or 15 years old. Some of them get to be 1,000 plus years old, 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Now, you look at the DNA in an olive tree, wow. So what do you think the tree is actually giving out for us? If we have olive leaf extract, what do you think it's doing for our body? If a tree can last 2,000 years, and I'm not saying we'll last 2,000 years, but I'm just saying there's some really good stuff in olive leaf extract.
Gotta be. Folks, go to getthetea.com, www.getthetea.com, or call and order in. The phone number is 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. Use the promo code Paul and get free shipping on your orders. He's got great sales this month. And it's time to take care of our health. A world filled with chemicals.
I want to thank all my partners for standing with me, for helping us in the mission of leading people to Jesus Christ, for winning souls into the kingdom. Our live broadcast online, we're seeing 25, 30 souls every day accepting Christ as their Savior. And right here on this television broadcast, so many have come to Jesus Christ. We couldn't do it without you, but we can do all things with Christ. So thank you again for being our partners. God bless all of you.